Cody Rhodes gets taken out in the opening minutes of the show by the main event, CM Punk, a guy who hasn't been seen on WWE television in months, is standing in the ring in full gear, ready to go. We were told he was a last-minute save. The math doesn't support that. You don't get a fully dressed, fully prepared former champion appearing out of nowhere in the same building unless he was already there, waiting. Welcome back to WWE Galaxy. I'm Nova. I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened on that show, piece by piece, and let you decide for yourself whether this was really the spontaneous chaos WWE wants you to believe it was. Let's start with what Gunther actually did to Cody Rhodes, because the details matter more than people are giving them credit for. He didn't just attack him, he powerbombed him through a merchandise table onto concrete, and then, specifically, deliberately, kicked a car door directly into his head. Not his back, not his ribs, his head. Think about why that detail matters. A head injury is the one thing that guarantees a medical team pulls you from a match without argument. Gunther didn't hurt Cody in a way that makes for a dramatic near miss later in the night. He hurt him in the one specific way that removes him from competition entirely, immediately, with no room for him to power through it. That's not the kind of injury you cause if you're just settling a personal score. That's the kind of injury you cause if you need somebody gone, cleanly, before the main event. So who actually benefits from Cody disappearing that night? Not Gunther directly, he wasn't even booked for a match. But look at what both men walk away with once the dust settles. Gunther gets Cody, a guy who's been a genuine obstacle to him all year, physically removed from the picture without having to beat him in the ring. And CM Punk gets exactly what he needs, a title opportunity against a champion who isn't Cody Rhodes, in his own hometown, with the entire building already primed to erupt for him the second he walks out. He didn't have to face a healthy, prepared opponent. He got Sami Zayn instead. And Chicago cheered so loud for him that nobody in that building stopped to ask why the guy who wasn't supposed to be there happened to already be dressed and ready to go. And here's what actually confirms this wasn't improvised. Multiple reports have made clear that WWE knew for a while that Zayn was going to drop the title to Punk, and that Punk had been specifically pushing to make his return on this exact night, in this exact city, for weeks beforehand. That's not a guy who got a phone call an hour before the show. That's a guy who'd already arranged to be there. If you're the kind of fan who actually wants the pieces connected instead of just handed the official story, hitting like and subscribing tells me to keep digging into stuff like this. Let's get into why Zayn specifically was the perfect target. Zayn wasn't just an easy opponent. He was the perfect one. He'd just come off a brutal triple threat at Night of Champions against Cody and Gunther, a match that took everything out of him to win. 9 days later, still running on fumes from that fight, he gets thrown into a main event against a fully rested former champion with zero notice and zero time to prepare mentally for a completely different opponent than the one he'd built weeks of game plan around. That's not just bad luck. That's exactly the kind of vulnerability you'd want if you were trying to guarantee a specific outcome. A tired, emotionally worn-down champion, forced into an unscripted title defense against a fresh, motivated challenger, is about as close to a sure thing as this business gets. Now here's where it gets interesting going forward. The original reported plan for SummerSlam had Gunther facing Royce Keys, a completely separate program with nothing to do with any of this. But that report came out before Gunther inserted himself into the title picture this dramatically. Given how directly he's now tied himself to Punk's title win, it's worth asking whether that Royce Keys plan still holds, or whether WWE's about to pivot Gunther somewhere closer to the title picture he just helped create. And think about what happens either way. Punk holds the title. Gunther's already proven he can operate as the most dangerous man on the roster without even needing a match to prove it. Cody's left with nothing, no rematch, no resolution, just a head injury and a stolen opportunity. Zayn's left with a 9-day reign and a loss he never really had a fair shot at preventing. If Punk and Gunther aren't officially working together, they've certainly ended up in the exact same position as if they were, both on top, while the two men actually owed something walk away with nothing. So tell me, coincidence or something closer to what I just laid out? And if there really is something between these two, does it get exposed before SummerSlam, or does WWE let it simmer all the way to Minneapolis? Drop your take in the comments. Like the video if this connected some dots for you, subscribe if you're new, and I'll keep pulling this thread. I'm Nova, WWE Galaxy. See you in the next one.